Good morning, everybody. Today is February 28th. The time is 10 a.m. and I'm calling this curriculum committee meeting to order. We have 3 members present. Ms. Heintel unfortunately could not make this meeting. And I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye, 3-0. Can I get an approval of the meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 3-0. Thank you. Dr. Rogers, Teach UCPS update.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, board members. Our first agenda item is our Teach UCPS update. So with us today, we have Dr. Emily Crafson. She is our Director of Human Resources Recruitment and Operations. And we also have Mr. Brian Davis, our Director of Career Readiness. So they'll take us through the update as we seek a recommendation to take this to the full board.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for giving us some time to give you an update on our Teach UCPS program. And I do have a presentation that I am going to share with you, so bear with me one second. All right. Just want to make sure everybody can see that before I begin moving forward. Perfect. Perfect. So again, as we know, it is very important for us to begin growing our own teachers, as we know there is a need for teachers in all grade levels and all subject areas. So we wanted to give you an update with where we are on our Teach UCPS programming. And just to begin with that, we wanted to give you a quick overview, just as a refresher on our pathways that we have for our students. So as we move forward, we have our associates pathway, which is going to be a very aggressive pathway for students who plan to pursue a associate's degree while they're in high school. Currently, we do not have students who have chosen to take on that aggressive pathway, which we are going to be discussing further in this presentation on how we are addressing that. Our 2 traditional pathways are the pre-apprenticeship pathway, as well as our university pathway. And again, our pre-apprenticeship pathway has students that complete our program and apply or register through Apprenticeship North Carolina as pre-apprentices with Union County Public Schools, and then can be hired as UCPS teacher apprentices when they finish their high school career. Our university pathway is really more of our traditional pathway, where students use these 7 articulated credits that they get through our program and can go to a traditional university program to pursue an educational degree. So a few numbers that I thought would be very good to share with you about where we are. So we currently have 2 programs that offer our teaching as a profession pathway. One is at Weddington High School, which was our first. This is the 2nd year of that program, and Porter Ridge we brought on board this year. One of the things I do want to point out, again, we're growing this program, and when I see numbers where they are growing, we have continual growth in our level 1 courses, which to me that is a very good sign for us. And we'll begin to see those students matriculate through the pathway. So my expectation is over the next year or so, we're going to continue to see students in the level 2 and 3 courses, which are taught together. Those numbers will increase. I also want to point out that we are beginning to have students register as pre-apprentices through our program, and they are looking at working with Union County Public Schools as an apprentice. So that is a very positive sign. We continually get those, and we do work through Apprenticeship North Carolina to register those as they come on board. All right, a little bit more information just to continue seeing interest. Again, we use Major Clarity as our career exploration and career planning tool. So as we look at data related to student interest, we see that Weddington High School and Porter Ridge High School still have a very substantial number of students that show interest in teaching as a career. So to market those, Union County Public Schools Teach UCPS teachers, as well as our career development coordinators, are marketing, and they are promoting those programs in the classrooms and in their career planning sessions that they do at the schools. We also, Kim Hayward and I have also met with all the lead counselors for 8th grade or for middle school. And we have been working with them to help them understand the program so that they can promote the program at the middle school level, in hopes that they will begin thinking about that program and potentially looking at other options related to Union County Early College that we're going to be discussing as we move forward.
All right, and now I'm excited to share with each of you the next steps for Teach UCPS. This upcoming spring, we will be continuing to promote Teach UCPS, as Mr. Davis mentioned, with the help of our high school and middle school counselors and career development coordinators. We will also be using career data to target students. So these CDCs and counselors will meet individually, one-on-one, or with groups of students based on their interest in teaching. And then for this upcoming 24-25 school year, we're excited to expand Teach UCPS through the Associates Pathway to Union County Early College. And Mr. Davis will be speaking about that in detail on the next slide. We know this is a pathway that will, of course, provide college access, remove financial barriers to teaching certification, and help us with building that pipeline of our own students to becoming teachers. Then we will be also adding a new transfer pathway for all former UCPS students, and I will be speaking about that in detail on a later slide.
Okay, so moving forward, talking about Union County Early College, this is a great opportunity for us to promote the associate's degree program that we have. So these are going to be students who are wanting to pursue that associate's degree. And we currently at UCEC have 7 students who are already interested in Teach UCPS, and they're in a teaching club that they've developed over there. And as we move forward, those students are interested in moving into that program. Also, as students are registering through Scribbles, we have 16 students who have already registered to plan to pursue the teaching pathway. One of the things that is exciting about this program is that with our partnership with South Piedmont Community College, the students will take EDU 216 and EDU 187, which are the 2 courses that articulate with the CTE Teaching as a Profession program through CCP, which means that does mean that we can offer those programs without having to add additional CTE staff to be able to teach the courses. So that is definitely a positive thing for us. And it will also give our students that 13th year to complete that associate's degree.
All right, so now I'm going to be speaking about our transfer pathway in detail. So as a reminder, this is for all former UCPS students. They would be eligible for this pathway once they have completed an associate degree at South Piedmont Community College. And specifically, we're referring to the teacher preparation associate degree. At that point, students would qualify for the Gateway Scholarship due to this partnership between South Piedmont Community College and Wingate University. Students would then be able to become a classroom teacher with us 2 years after earning their associate degree, and then, of course, completing their degree at Wingate University. As far as cost goes, the associate degree, here's where it's different from some of our other pathways. The students would incur the cost for the associate degree. So they would be on their own initiative pursuing a teacher preparation associate degree. This could be students who are recent graduates, or maybe they graduated 6 years ago before Next Up Teach UCPS was an option. But we're truly opening up our grow your own candidate pool for teachers to come and work for us. When we look at our bachelor's degree, the tuition, because of the Gateway Scholarship, is capped at $2,500 per year. And at that point, the cost can be covered by Union County Public Schools in exchange for these students committing to work with us for 3 to 4 years. And so really this is a recruitment and retention tool. So what the students would have to do in order to pursue this pathway, of course, meet the eligibility requirements, but then they would complete an application, just like our employees do for that pathway. It will be a very selective application and interview process because we are trying to attract and retain the highest qualified teachers to our school system. And the only other point I want to note about this exciting new pathway is that this will also be an opportunity for students in our first two pathways, our associates and our pre-apprentice pathway. They also can apply for this scholarship because they would then also be eligible. So really that opens up many more eligible students, and we can truly select the highest quality candidates to come and teach within our school system. So we're really excited about this opportunity. All right, you can move on. All right, and now as a quick refresher of our employee pathway, if you look over on the right-hand side, this is for any employee who is currently serving in an instructional capacity, such as a tutor or an instructional assistant who is interested in pursuing teacher certification. They have the opportunity to enroll at SPCC to complete their associate degree, and then they also qualify for the Gateway Scholarship, which at Wingate, for their two-year program, caps the tuition at $2,500 per year. So for our current employees who pursue this pathway, they have the opportunity to get their associate degree at zero tuition cost, and then the bachelor's degree, again, that tuition is capped at $2,500, and then this is where UCPS also steps in to pay that $2,500 annual tuition for them. They also will be committing to teach with us for 3 to 4 years. Thus, again, it being a recruitment and retention tool for our school system. If you look over on the left-hand side, these are some exciting updates to show you very positive results we're seeing with this pathway. Currently, we have 23 employees at various points throughout their program. We do have a group of graduates coming up in 2024, 3 this spring and 1 in the fall. And we are currently working directly with Wingate University on plans to celebrate these employees. And we know they're going to be applying to come and work for us as teachers. And finally, we have our fall 2024 employee pathway cohort about to open the application portal as soon as March 1st, and they can apply all the way through April 26th. And we have held interest meetings, and we know we're going to be seeing many employees apply to be added to this pathway. I think you can move on. And so again, we thank you for your attention and partnership with Teach UCPS. One final note is that we do have a meeting scheduled on March 5th with South Piedmont Community College to discuss promotional strategies related to our new teacher transfer pathway for our students, as well as the associate and pre-apprentice pathways. So we're excited to be able to share those updates in the future.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I think this is a phenomenal program and a great opportunity. A few questions that I had. Number one, is there anything, I know that the program is going to be implemented, is being implemented at Weddington High. Is there anything that can be done to create opportunity for students on the eastern part of the county that may be interested in education, as well as just to introduce how rewarding being an educator can be, which may potentially change their career pathway?
So that's a great question, Reverend Kirkpatrick. So we are definitely looking at that right now. We're currently growing the programs at Weddington and Porter Ridge. And one of the things that we constantly do in CTE is we are looking at data to see, is there an opportunity for us to look at expanding this program to other schools later? We're currently looking at Major Clarity data, and we've asked all schools to have the course on their registration information. So taking those data points together over the next year, we'll be looking at opportunities for us to expand this going into the next school year, or the 24 or 25-26 school year. We also are still allowing academy students to be able to travel to these programs. So students around the district, if they choose to do so, can do that. We are actually beginning to get more academy applications for students wanting to travel to one of these two locations to be able to take the courses. I believe we're up to 5 or 6 of those now. So that's another positive sign that there is interest out there. But it's absolutely something we're looking at, and it is something that is on our mind about how to make sure we provide opportunities equitably across the district.
I'll just add 2 points. One, I've said from the very beginning of this, it is our goal to have the academy model in place at every high school in UCPS. That's the eventual goal. And we're trying to grow this at least one school at a time. So to Reverend Kirkpatrick's point, when we have interest data at a school like Forest Hills High School or Monroe High School or Piedmont, wherever that might be, we certainly will be looking at that as a next step. The second point I was going to make is I think opening this up at early college next fall will also give all of our kids, no matter where you currently reside, the opportunity to go to that school. We provide transportation there. It makes a lot of sense to go get your associate's pathway. And so we will increasingly market those programs to our students across the district. And I think this will give our kids on all parts of the school system and in the county a really good chance to go to a great school and earn that associates, and then hopefully one day teach for us.
Yes, sir. My second question, is there I know these students are preparing to become teachers and teach of UCPS. Is there some type of an elective class that will be offered to these students who are looking to go into teaching that deals with classroom management, being able to work in different educational cultures, so that if this is an interest, they need to know that every school may not be like the school that they attended in high school or elementary, middle school, that in education, sometimes you have to go to different schools that may be a little more challenging. So classroom management programs or classes, will those be offered to those students that are looking to go into education?
Yeah, I can answer that as well, Reverend Kirkpatrick. So the teaching as a profession classes that are part of the CTE pathway definitely include classroom management strategies as part of the curriculum. Those students also get opportunities to go into classrooms where they're traditionally going to be working and partnering with. However, one of the goals that our teachers do, which I think is phenomenal, is they provide opportunities for our students to go visit schools that are not like their own. And that allows them to learn more about those opportunities. And some students are very passionate about going to work at those type of schools. So I definitely think it is important for them to learn the differences in schools and be prepared to handle those things. Another opportunity that we have available is students who complete our program could also be Union County Public Schools interns. And we place those all around the district as well. So students that complete our program through teaching as a profession can add on additional time in classrooms at schools that choose to have them in the building.
Yes, sir. All right. Those are all of my questions. Thank you.
The only other thing I'll add to that is I would really like for us to also consider looking at some kind of an elective class for our middle school students to really get them engaged in and kind of exploring whether or not teaching as a profession might be something they're interested in. So I have been talking with Dr. Rogers a little bit about that. We're not prepared for that course to be offered next fall, but are certainly something we're working on maybe for the future, just like, to pique that interest before you even get into high school.
I have a couple questions. So on the slide with the TAAP 1, 2, and 3, is that like a natural progression, like freshman, sophomore, junior, or what are we thinking?
That's a good question, Ms. May. So for our program, because it is articulated with university credits, they can't start until their 10th grade year.
Okay.
So the earliest that they can start is then. However, the program is built so that if a student decides their senior year, they want to jump in that pathway and they've made teaching the decision that they want to go as a career, they can actually complete that in 1 year. it would have to be a first semester, and then you have a double block 2 and 3 because the level 3 course is the field experience. So not every student will do that. Some students may do it their junior year because of the way the schedule works out, and then they do level 1 junior year and then finish it their senior year. So it allows flexibility for the student and allows them to be able to take other electives that they need to have to finish out their high school career.
Okay. So the pre-apprentice pathway, basically, they go on to get their associate's degree, and then are we covering the associate's degree? That's why it says zero tuition.
So that's a good point as well. So if a student registers as a pre-apprentice while they're in high school, and then they choose to come work for Union County Public Schools as an apprentice within the first, I believe, 90 days, there is a tuition waiver. So there is no cost to the district or the student for those students to get their associate's degree as long as they remain in that apprenticeship. So it's a wonderful opportunity for them to get a free associate's degree. And it really is helpful for Union County Public Schools because there is no cost for us on those pre-apprentices. We really have been pushing that. My work-based learning coordinators have been in the classrooms really trying to talk that pre-apprenticeship up. And I believe that's why we've been getting more numbers coming into that program.
And so that apprenticeship would then be they'd be a teacher assistant. And so would that be like full-time as a teacher assistant and then doing their associates, around that, or is it some combination time-wise?
Yeah, so they would be working on that with an apprenticeship program. It's typically on a graduated pay scale, and there is a commitment to the district, since we would be the owner of the apprenticeship, that we would allow opportunities for flexibility for them to be able to work on coursework if needed during that time. So Dr. Crafton may be able to give you a little bit more details on what she's looking at with that apprenticeship program.
Yes, so Ms. May, the way we also see it is it would be similar to what we do for our employees who are working full-time and also completing their associate at SPCC. So I think what Mr. Davis spoke to is just that flexibility, working between the school staff and with the employee in the institution to make sure we have a plan in place that, will ensure that they're able to meet the needs of both.
Okay, thank you. Do we have like a max of how many can do this pre-apprentice? Like where they would be a UCPS apprentice? Like, do we have a max number that if, some amazing reason we have a ton of students that want to do this, like we have to cap it, or?
So that's for the pre-apprentice, and I'll let Dr. Crafton speak to the apprenticeship piece. For the pre-apprenticeship, there is no capacity on that. We can register as many kids as we want to be pre-apprentices. The apprenticeship, and I'll let Dr. Crafton speak in more detail, that definitely would have some an opportunity there because of funding and whatnot, that they might need to pay them for a cap.
Yes, so in terms of our funding in our local HR scholarship budget, we of course have, it's not an unlimited fund. So we do have to look across all of our pathways and how we're going to be, funding each of the pathways. And it could vary from year to year, just depending on interest, enrollment, and all of that. And then with the pre-apprentice, we of course do need to be looking at from a staffing standpoint, where that's going to land and fitting in all of these students into positions. But, our goal, of course, is to honor as many as we possibly can, just as long as we are staying within our local budget.
Okay. And then for the scholarship, is there like certain requirements? And then are we trying to offer to, certain, I guess, highest achieving, or I don't know, like what parameters are we using in offering that?
Very good question. So absolutely, yes, we're going to be truly having a, tiered criteria approach. There is going to be required, reference letter from current supervisor, interview process, but we will be, because we have not had a point yet where we have students. We've only been looking at employees.
Mhm.
So we will be looking at things like, maybe, reference letters from their professors, different things. So we will really be wanting to make sure we're getting the highest quality candidates into our school system. So it's a great question.
Okay, and then how do we decide? It says 3 to 4 year commitment.
So it is a 3 years at a Title I school or 4 years at a traditional school. So that gives students options, maybe based on their interest or their experience for what they're doing related to their student teaching and field experience. It will also help us to cover, teacher retention across all school types.
Okay, and then are we also like offering this to any ESS substitutes?
Yes,
Okay.
they have been invited to our interest meetings. The only difference for them is similar to, for our employee pathway, we do ask that they commit to teach with us for 1 year. So the ESS employees would need to become a UCPS employee prior to qualifying for the employee pathway.
Okay.
Great question.
That's all I had. Anyone else have questions?
Yeah. Did you mention something about students that have already graduated? They have that, how does that work with those students?
Yes, great question, Ms. Green. So any UCPS student that has graduated from us, because this truly is a grow your own, we want to give all students an opportunity. We have students who, came through our school system prior to Next Stop Teach UCPS being an option. So we want to provide the opportunity for them to come and teach with us and remove that financial barrier for them while they're at Wingate University. And then, of course, in exchange for a 3 to 4 year commitment with us. So what we will be doing through this meeting that we're holding with SPCC on March 5th is looking at how we can get in front of those current SPCC students, many of which are former UCPS students, and letting them know about this opportunity and hopefully getting some students into our school system as soon as possible.
So what if how far back would they have had to, like in the last 5 years, 10 years, 3 years? How does that work?
Essentially, we haven't set a limit because if they've gone through our school system, they're one of our own, and we believe in bringing them in. But again, that's why it's so important to have this high level and selective application and interview process to make sure we're truly getting the best.
Okay, one last question.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned with SPCC, can it be like, what if they're enrolled somewhere else? Like say, or if they're currently enrolled, like say UNC Charlotte or something?
So at this time, we are not looking to expand to other colleges and universities. We're trying to stick with our current partners. Sure. But in the future, should we ever want to expand, and develop another pathway, we always could consider that. But for right now, we are looking just at South Piedmont Community College.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you very much. And I do need a motion to send this to the full board.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 3-0, thank you. EOC EOG summer program retesting proposal.
Yes, ma'am. So we have Dr. Tyson and Dr. Schleider here with us to share the summer program, the retesting proposal for your approval. So Dr. Tyson, good morning.
Yes, so good morning, everyone, and good morning, board members. So today I am here with Dr. Schleider, our Director of Research and Accountability, and we have a very simple request. Each year, the state provides us the flexibility to hold what they call summer program. But when you hear summer program, that's really retesting outside of the academic year. So the big idea here is students that are not proficient on one or more of their EOGs or EOCs would have the opportunity, it would not be a requirement, but an opportunity to come into their school outside of the academic year. So starting on, I believe, June the 10th, they would do remediation and then they would participate in a retest. But of course, they have to do the remediation and the retesting outside the academic year. The scores would count towards proficiency of the school, but not towards growth, and this program cannot be required. We sent a memo to you guys through board docs. It was uploaded Dr. Slider's here to answer any technical questions. This is something we have engaged in the past, and we're asking for your approval to move in that direction this year.
Any
Dr. Knight,
questions? No?
yes. What was the success rate in the past from this?
Right. So last year we re-administered 3,547 total EOGs and EOCs, and 792 of those that we re-administered were proficient, whereas they were not previously proficient, for a percentage of 22.3 percentage points of the students that actually tested. I believe overall, it was a 1.6 percentage point increase for us as a district as a whole.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Okay, no, I need a motion to send this to the full board.
I make a motion to send this to the full board in our March meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, 3-0.
Thank you very much.
UCPS Summer 2024 program offerings.
Susan, you're muted, I believe.
My apologies. So let me just start with the overview. If you've got questions along the way, or if you want to hold your questions to the end, your questions are definitely welcome. So my overview today will include summer reading camp and our career accelerator program. And Brian Davis is staying on the meeting just in case we have questions about career accelerators. That is run through our CTE department, and I will be overviewing our timeline. So when we look at our summer reading camp requirements, they come through our Read to Achieve legislation, and we invite students in grades 1 through 3 who need to improve in reading proficiency at no cost to the student. And so we also provide 72 hours of instruction for our students, and we target recruiting for highly qualified teachers for this case. The funding for our reading camp is a combination of state and ESSER funding for this year. So here are some reading camp details. Again, it's for first, second, and third grade students who have not demonstrated grade level reading proficiency. So our students will come to the camps and they'll gain the skills that they need to be proficient and improve in their reading progress by the end of their third grade year. We align our work and our instructional schools across the district. We're in planning stages for that now. Camp for reading will begin the week of June 17th, continue the week of June 24th, and then July 8th. It will be a Monday through Thursday schedule. So again, our purpose is to ensure that every student reads at or above grade level by the end of their third grade year. Next, we have our Career Accelerator program. This is ESSER funded for this summer, and it is focused for middle and high school students, and we want to provide them with work-based experiences, and it aligns to our local workforce priorities to help also deepen just our community connection. So we do work with community partners, which many times includes field trips to our industry and business partners throughout the camps. So here are some program details. Again, it's for a middle and high school student focus. It provides career exploration in our middle and high schools to expose them to work-based learning experiences. I do have to say, and Mr. Davis will agree, that our camps are very popular and they are well received by our students and our parents. So we're excited to be able to provide this camp this year. It will be located at various middle and high schools across our district. It will also start the week of June 17th and go on the week of June 24th, July 8th, and July 22nd, and will also run on that Monday through Thursday schedule. So the purpose of our career accelerator camps, it's just to create that deeper understanding of local career opportunities, and also just to expand the knowledge that students may have learned in some of their CTE, the career and technical education courses. So here we have just a side-by-side look of the two summer program offerings. Students will attend 6 hours a day in both camps, and you see the student schedule there, and you see the staff schedule there as well. Wanted to talk a moment just about our reading camp positions. We would like to offer a district summer program coordinator position and site administrator positions. You see the hourly rates there. These are excellent learning opportunities for our current assistant principals so that they can grow in their leadership skill set. It's a great opportunity for our assistant principals. We also, of course, have to have K-5 certified teachers and one clerical position per campsite. We're excited to be able to offer an unpaid internship for our Teach You CPS students, so expanding learning opportunities for our Teach You CPS students to be able to come in over the summer and participate in the planning process through the implementation of lessons at our summer camp. So we will be able to provide that, and we are excited about that. So finally, here's just a look at our timeline. Of course, our site administrators will be secured, and they will contact the host school principals in May, and they partner very closely together. Our application and hiring process is approaching. That window will open the week of March 4th and continue on the rest of March. Our candidates apply in frontline. Our site administrators own that interview and hiring process, and that will occur after May 4th. We have a very robust orientation and training plan for our site administrators, again, to grow them in their leadership skills. That will begin the week of May 3rd, and those are just recurring meetings. And we also tuck in some of our training opportunities in AP Academy during the months of April and May. So, of course, family notification, this timeline is important. The invitation letters for reading camp go out to our schools April 26th. And then our site administrators can create class rosters during the months of May and June. And our site administrators communicate directly with our families also in the months of May and June. And so with that, I'll open it up to any questions you have.
I have a couple questions. So the letters go out to the parents, but does it identify to the parents at that point what school their child would be attending, or it does?
Yes, ma'am.
So in April.
Yeah, so we'll identify the school locations, and we work closely with Mr. Moore on that. And so the parents will know the exact location of the camp. Okay.
And then what is the application window for the career camps? Because I know they're super popular and waitlisted and all that. Yeah.
That's a good question, Ms. May. We are actually working on updating our website and getting the registration ready to go. We are going to have that our goal is to have it by next week, have it live. But we're trying to wait on locations because we want to give enough time for them to register, and we're going to try to cut it off by the 1st of May so that we can make some decisions on whether camps are going to make or not. Currently, right now, we've got a little over 40 camps we're looking to try to offer over the course of those 4 weeks.
Wow. Okay. So you think the application window will start next week?
That's my goal. It depends on if we get the needed information as we work through it with our team, but it will be in the very near future. But we are working on updating the website and everything right now.
Okay, and then we provide meals and transportation for these camps, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the pay scale for those positions?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I assume it's their regular hourly rate
Okay.
for the bus drivers and for the child nutrition staff.
Anybody else have questions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, I just wanted to add
Mhm.
that we do not provide that transportation for the career camps.
Do we provide meals for the career camp,
Yes,
but no transportation?
correct.
And I know you guys said that it's the career camps are pretty popular. Do we have a good amount of students, parents that enroll their kids for the reading one? The
Yes,
reading program?
ma'am. We work diligently to communicate to our parents across the school year. If students need extra reading support, if students are not proficient in reading, and so our schools do an excellent job of communicating to parents the reason for the camp, how it will benefit their child to attend the camp, and that is ongoing communication.
Okay. What schools usually, is there like any particular schools that use it?
It can rotate many years. It is also, it's based on some of the construction schedules during the summer months. So we work closely with Mr. Moore and his division to determine the locations of the schools.
No, I meant like what any particular schools that have a lot lower. Is it just kind of part of just the proficiency, like which ones maybe have more registration than others? Does that sound right?
Yes, ma'am. It just depends on the students that are assessed throughout the year as to the number of students that are not proficient in reading, and it's different per school.
Okay, that's fine.
And it's for students in grades first, second, and third as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
How can you all,
John,
You're
you're cutting out.
John.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm walking in my office. Probably. What about now? What about now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. How can the community help support this effort of, number one, holding the parents accountable? What can be done, because this is very much needed and we want it to be as successful as possible. I know sometimes there were some instances in the past where some of the students may have started off and then they fell off and what have you, but what can be done to kind of help support you guys in making sure that these students take 100% have 100%, at least 100% participation in this program, if anything?
Yes, sir. I believe it's the communication and communicating the benefits, because our goal is to have all students proficient by the end of third grade. And so this is an opportunity to support that learning curve. So communicating the benefits is key. And that's why we work during the months of January and February to get everything planned and seek your approval so that we can begin the communication process as well. I know one of the strategies we utilized last year was we hosted an open house for our camps for the reading camp, and that was very successful because it gives time for parents to come in, meet with the site administrator. Several of the teachers for summer reading camp attended this, and that was very beneficial. So parents had the time to ask questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. Reverend Kirkpatrick, and for all of you, the other tie-in that I would say is, remember that the summer months also align for when our mobile book bus will be driving out throughout many of our communities. We do a series of book drives. We have a wonderful partner called Promising Pages that does book drives. If our local community, our churches, our businesses, our organizations wanted to make donations of books, when we receive those, our staff vets them and make sure that they are appropriate, and we put them on the bus. That's another thing that I would suggest, that as a way our community could help, that would be a big one as well.
Yes,
Yes.
and I will also add that our site administrators and the school teams, they do a phenomenal job of that great balance of fun and learning. And so there are activities and themed weeks that go on so that the students, the kids are engaged. They want to come to camp, and we get some great feedback from Reading Camp as well about how beneficial it is, and that the students are having a great level of increasing their reading proficiency, but also having fun.
Okay, I need a motion to send this to the full board.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0, thank you. Our next meeting is March 27th at 10 a.m. via Zoom. Want to thank everybody for being here, and I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank
Have a
Have a
good
good
day.
day. All
Have a
right.
good
Have a
day.
great day.